Hello and welcome to Curiosity Taught the Cat. I'm Jack, and I want to start off this episode by saying and apologizing for the lack of content for a little while. What with holidays, jobs, whatnot. Julia got a coaching position, so she's been doing that on top of working in school. So it's been a little bit difficult to record and get things done. But I decided I can just go ahead and tackle some episodes on my own. And I also wanted to start with any ones that we had planned or the ones we had talked about previously. We're kind of just putting those ones to the side. There was ones in December that we wanted to do for the month of December that we're not going to be tackling probably until the next December, or we'll figure out when to incorporate them back into the mix. So today it is just me. Julia is not here with me. I just wanted to put that out there, let everyone know what's going on. But welcome. I hope everyone's been well, but we'll go ahead and dive right in. Today we are going to be talking about the mourning gecko, and that's mourning as in like grieving or sadness, not mourning as in the time of day. So the mourning gecko is a type of gecko. Its scientific name is a really fun one, and I'm only sharing this. It doesn't have any big significance, but I think it's a pretty fun name. It's Leptodactylus lugubris. It's just a fun one to say. I thought I wanted to share that one with you. A nickname that it has is the common smooth-scaled gecko. And as you can see in the pictures, you can see how like smooth they appear, and it is one of the more common geckos that you will see. As for where it is found all over the place. It is found in Asia, Oceania, and North America. So countries like the Maldives, Sri Lanka, India, Myanmar, United States, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Japan, Taiwan, China, Indonesia, Singapore, Philippines, Papua New Guinea, Australia, and Samoa. And it was introduced in Mexico, Brazil, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Ecuador, Colombia, Chile, and the Seychelles. I'm not sure to pronounce that last one, honestly. So the first group of countries that I named were ones where it's indigenous to. The second group is where it was introduced to. And the type of environment that the mourning gecko enjoys is a more desert, shrublands, even some tropical moist forest as well. They're found in coastal regions of the Indian and Pacific Oceans, so in those countries that I had mentioned, and they live in a wide range of lowland habitats, like including rainforests, deserts, plantations, and other human-modified areas. As for appearance, as you can see in some of the pictures that have been flashing up, it's a pretty muted appearance. They are light to dark tan in color with dark spots down the length of their back and a brown stripe from the ear to the tip of the nose. They're capable of firing up and down to change their color, and what that means, they're not like chameleons where they can like really change their color and do something crazy, or like octopus. They kind of just can get darker or they can get lighter, and it's to help blend in with their environment different times in the day. So they still want to stay that like brownish tan color because of whatever rocks or whatever it may be. But depending on like the time of day, they maybe want to be a little darker or a little lighter to help blend in with their environment. Their size, they are not very big at all. They range from 8.5 to 10 centimeters. So the average size is about 3 to 4 inches when fully grown. So they are not very big at all. As for some other physical characteristics, the geckos are very agile climbers. I'm sure most people have seen some kind of gecko at some point in their life. Probably one of the more common ones, the leopard gecko. It's a common pet. The agile climbing, it's to do with their specialized toe pads that geckos have that enable them to climb smooth and vertical surfaces. That's where you can see geckos sticking to like glass. And they can even climb across indoor ceilings with ease. Beyond the coloration, the mourning geckos have all the hallmark features you'd expect from other geckos. That includes things like triangular head, prominent tail, and sticky pads on their feet. And then as for what they eat, they are omnivorous. So they will eat insects, fruit, pollen, whatever they can come across, whatever they can get in their mouth, really. And then as for what eats it, it's basically one of those situations where anything bigger than it. So it could be other lizards, birds, any kind of mammals that may eat them, and basically anything bigger than it is most likely going to be preying on this lizard. And then as for what it does when it gets threatened. I'm sure a lot of people know about this, but in case you didn't, geckos have a really cool defense mechanism. When threatened, the geckos will flee and they'll hide under the nearest surface. And what they will do is, if they end up getting captured before they're able to flee, they will lose their tails. And it's intentional. They want their tails to fall off. It's a process called autotomy. And it's to either create a diversion, or maybe something will eat the tail, and by the time it's finished eating the tail, the gecko has gotten away because it still has meat on it, still nutrients, and it also, to some creatures, may look like a worm or something. As for mating, the mourning gecko has year-round mating, so it will mate throughout the entire year. And they are parthenogenic, and this is a new term to me, and this is a really interesting concept. I knew some animals did this, but I didn't realize how prolific it was. So parthenogenic reproduction means that males are not necessary for reproduction. So as such, while males do exist, they are very rare and often sterile. So the female mourning geckos will lay eggs, and they are essentially just clones of herself, is essentially what they are. And how they get genetic diversity is through mutations that may happen, and that the females may pass on those mutations, creating these new genes. The egg laying, the incubation period is between 65 and 103 days. The clutch size is usually 1 to 2 eggs, and the clutches are laid every 4 to 6 weeks approximately. Then, as for the child rearing, upon hatching, juveniles are a mere 1.5 inches long, so they are tiny when they come out of their eggs. They reach sexual maturity at about 8 months of age, and at that point, they'll start to lay eggs they'll start to lay about 2 eggs every 4 to 6 weeks, as I said. So they're pumping out numbers pretty quickly. And then as for lifespan, a mourning gecko can live around, on average, 10 years in captivity. So obviously it's going to be a smaller number in the wild, but they can live a decently long time for a gecko. Then some behavior topics for the mourning gecko. So I thought this one was fun. The group name for a group of mourning geckos is a lounge. So you can have a lounge of geckos. They are cathemeral, which means that they are active at irregular intervals. So it just depends on when they're hungry, when they need to go. There's no set night or day pattern that they follow. And they can be heard and observed chirping at and chasing one another at virtually any time of day or night. Apparently, they are very playful with other geckos. They're primarily nocturnal, but like I said, it's that cathemeral where it's an irregular intervals. They are usually encountered exposed, but near cover during the day. So they're out, but they're not really like out and about like they would be during the night. And because most of the geckos are female, there's not a lot of territorial disputes and behaviors that you would see. A lot of that comes from usually males in the species because of testosterone and aggressiveness and whatnot. There is occasional infighting, and aggression can be typical. However, sparring rarely results in serious injury, so that's not really a concern for them. And then, as I kind of said earlier, you can hear them chirping. They also will make squeaks and creaks at each other, and I'm sure you can find some really fun sound effects of what these kind of sound like. But it is a really cute sound that they make. And then, as for population size, they are not evaluated by the IUCN. So, as always, the IUCN is what we go by for the endangered level of these animals, and they are not evaluated by the IUCN. But given their widespread populations over multiple countries and continents, they don't face any major threats. But as always, there's going to be stuff like deforestation and human interaction that may come from being in their habitats are going to be probably the biggest things that you will see when it comes to the mourning gecko's population size. And a fun fact that I have for the mourning gecko is so they're occasionally kept as pets due to their very simple care requirements. They are not very difficult animals to take care of, and they are very social. And because they are parthenogenic, they reproduce very well in captivity, and most individuals kept are as pets are captive bred. So most of the ones that you find in a pet store were most likely not caught in the wild and brought to a pet store. They were most likely captive bred because it's just so easy to breed them since a male's not required. A female can just be laying eggs, and you got some more mourning gecko babies on your hands. And that wraps up everything that I have right now on the mourning gecko. I might do another episode or two by myself here and there. Julia may be coming in more for others. We're also going to experiment with a another kind of what would be the word? Another kind of format where my partner will come in and I'll be talking about the animal to her. She'll be coming in blind. She will have minimal or no idea of what we're talking about. And I will talk to her and get her reaction, see if we can get some fun reactions out of her. She might ask some good questions that can help spur some good conversation that we can talk about this animal. So that's another format that we're going to be experimenting with. Again, thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. I want to get back into a regular schedule and get these out. Hope everyone has had a good holidays, a good start to the year, and we'll catch you again next time. Enjoy.